Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
The pro-Brexit campaign donor Arron Banks has declared there was no Russian funding involved, as the Electoral Commission said it was investigating whether he breached campaign finance rules during the referendum. The watchdog is looking into the source of millions of pounds in loans made to the Leave.EU campaign chaired by Mr Banks, as well as donations made by a company which lists him as a director. Over to our political correspondent Michael Crick in Westminster. Michael.
Well, John, Arron Banks was by far the biggest individual donor to the Brexit campaigns last year, around £9 million. And the Electoral Commission are looking in particular at £2.3 million, which came from one of Mr Banks's companies to various Brexit groups, and £6 million in loans which Mr Banks made to the Leave.EU campaign, and asking whether that was all really Mr Banks's own money or whether it really came from impermissible donors, in other words, foreign sources, which is against the rules. Now, the Open Democracy campaign have been investigating Mr Banks's wealth, and they think that those donations were a substantial part of that wealth. The Labour MP Ben Bradshaw has been looking into possible Russian involvement in the Brexit campaign, and this is what Mr Bradshaw said today.
I think we have to be really careful now. There's a live investigation ongoing by the Electoral Commission commenting on individuals or allegations, but I think everyone is aware that there have been concerns and reports swirling around about alleged dark money and the role it played in our referendum and in the US presidential election, and it's really important so that people can have faith in our democracy that we get to the bottom of it.
Now, Mr Banks himself seems pretty relaxed about the inquiry. He tweeted, "Gosh, I'm terrified." Then he issued a couple of statements saying that allegations of Brexit being funded by the Russians are a complete rubbish and a work of fiction. And then he went on to say, "My sole involvement with the Russians was a boozy 6-hour lunch with the ambassador where we drank the place dry." Mr Banks is calling for a judge-led inquiry because he doesn't think the Electoral Commission can do it properly. He says now, under the rules, the Electoral Commission could fine Mr Banks up to £20,000 if he thinks that he's broken the rules. They could also refer him to the police, and the maximum penalty under the law would be a year in jail.
Michael, thanks very much.